So there we are then, confirmation of Gary Anderson beating Dave Chisnall 10-7. And next up, it's Peter Wright taking on Mensah Suljovic this evening live here on BBC Two. And let's find out what Mensah would make of our Mensah as he gets quizzed on his career so far.
Mensah Suljovic, on the hockey. Let's go. You lost on the Windmill World Masters stage in both 1999 and 2001 to the eventual champions. Who were they? Andy Fordham in 1999 and Raymond van Barneveld in 2001.
Okay.
Which two players did you play on your BDO World Championship debut at Lakeside in 2002?
Mervyn King.
And the second player?
Vincent van der Voort.
Which two players in the current PDC top 10 did you defeat at the 2011 World Championship?
Michael van Gerwen and James Wright.
You reached the quarter-finals of the UK Open 2 years in a row, but what years were they?
2014-15.
You reached the semi-final of a TV major by hitting a 170 checkout to win the match. Which tournament was it, and who was your opponent?
Het was in Dublin gegen Vincent van der Voort.
It was the 2015 World Grand Prix, but we'll give you that one. You defeated Kim Huybrecht 6-5 to win your first PDC ranking tournament at the 2016 International Darts Open. But how many darts at double did Kim miss in the deciding leg to win the title himself?
Ik had 9 check that match that vergeben.
No, it was 7. What checkout did you hit to beat Peter Wright and reach your first final in a TV major at the 2016 European Championship?
Ik had dat per 14.
We're looking for your checkout.
High check 108.
It was 118, single 20, treble 20, double 19.
Nice.
You have defeated 2 former world champions in singles matches at the PDC World Cup of Darts. Who are they?
World Cup of Darts. Weiß ich nicht.
We were looking for John Part and Adrian Lewis. Mensah Suljovic, that's your lot, and here's what you got.
Oh, Mensah hasn't done very well there in our quiz. By the way, have you done yours? Are we likely to see those?
We did one together.
Right, okay.
So they tested our general knowledge about certain darts questions.
Right.
One of the boffins in darts came up with 10 questions, so we'll get to see that tomorrow night.
Right, okay, can't wait for that. Okay, we're keeping that for finals night. Can't wait for that. Wonderful stuff. Right, so Mensah might not have performed very well in our quiz, but my goodness, this afternoon he was terrific, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was fantastic. I mean, we were questioning him because obviously this is a new sort of thing for him, a top 8 competition. But he looked so relaxed up there. He never let Gary in the game, and he's got experience of playing Peter Wright. He's beat Peter Wright in a major semi-final before, so he won't be daunted by the task ahead of him tonight. I
was saying to the boys earlier this afternoon that one of the newspapers described Mensah as a dangerous opponent for anyone. Would you agree with that, Paul?
Absolutely. This time last year, he really started to motor on with his career. He picked up his first PDC ranking title, and he was starting to worry at the likes of Van Gerwen, Peter Wright, Kim Huybrecht. He was beating these kinds of players on big stages, and his career has gone like this. And it's plateaued over the last 12 months, but that is one good plateau. Yeah. He's sitting there looking down on people right now because he's that good.
Yeah, and Peter Wright came into the studio for a chat this afternoon, and he was talking about learning from defeats and learning from mistakes, and we are seeing a really confident Peter Wright here.
Yeah, he's always very confident. I mean, we touched on the Premier League defeat he had this year, which must have hurt him. But, you know, the next day we speak to him in a Players' Champs. He was ready to go again. He doesn't dwell on defeats, and he's super confident. At the minute, we think he's sticking with the same equipment, so it can only be good things for Peter Wright.
Yeah, but that's what you have to do in any sport, isn't it? You have to analyse your performance and look back at any defeats or any victories you have in order to get better. And Peter is obviously capitalising on that analysis.
Oh. I think analysing is like an undertone of what he does. I mean, he goes home, he looks at slow-mos, he looks at what he's used and what he could potentially use. If there's a new bit of equipment that comes on the market, he wants it, because he wants to see if he'll get that extra 0.5%. but you've got to give him a lot of kudos for the amount of dedication he's had to get himself to this point, because if it wasn't for that dedication, he wouldn't be here.
OK, chaps, thank you very much indeed. OK, here we go then. Our second live match for you this evening. Let's hand you to our MC, John McDonald.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to fantastic Cardiff! Yes, welcome along to the Unibet Champions League of Darts, brought to you by the Professional Darts Corporation. We welcome our viewers joining us on BBC Sport, and now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to meet the players. Would you please welcome from Austria, European Championship finalist and a winner of a PDC ranking event. Ladies and gentlemen, here he is, the gentle Mensur Suljovic! And now, ladies and gentlemen, the reigning UK Open champion, let's get this party started! Snakebite, Peter
Performance as ever from Peter Wright on the stage. He's won both 2017 meetings, most recently at a European Tour event in July, which he went on to win. So the omens are good for Peter's fans here in Cardiff this evening. Paul Nicholson has sped from our studio to the commentary box alongside Dan Dawson.
Well, you thought it was a clash of styles this afternoon when Mensur went up against the Flying Scotsman Gary Anderson, and certainly a clash of walk-ons this evening. Mensur just a serene glide on stage to Tina Turner, whereas Peter Snakebite Wright bouncing around quite literally here at the Motorpoint Arena in Cardiff. Will he be bouncing his way to the top of Group B with victory here against Mensur, one that would do wonders for his hopes of making it out of the group, something he didn't manage to do in the inaugural year of this tournament last year, and something that Peter Wright will be desperate to put right. Paul Nicholson.
Absolutely right, Dan Dawson. We do have a clash of styles, but we've still got as many colours on stage as you would see in a paint shop catalogue. The only colour they want to see with the first dart is red.
Well, Mensur has the advantage of throwing first in this one. As Jason was saying earlier, he does have one huge win against Peter Wright on his CV. That semi-final of the European Championship, which booked his place in his first major TV final towards the end of last year, around about 12 months ago. That was a tournament where Mensah not only beat Peter Wright, the world number 3, but he beat his idol, Phil Taylor, and it still lives with Mensah as one of the greatest things he ever done in darts. Going into that match with Taylor, he'd barely won a leg against him in their previous meetings. He had that aura, but it was Mensah's series of performances last year. We have watched this man evolve into one of the top players in the world, and he underlined that this afternoon against Gary Anderson.
Yes, he did, and what we can't forget is that with Phil Taylor retiring at the end of this year, the answer to the question who was the last player to beat Phil Taylor in the European Championship is Mensah Suljovic.
60.
Yeah, nice little entry to a record, but being the last person to beat the greatest player of all time in any big tournament.
Not only do the players this week want to beat him, they want to be lifting the trophy, but secretly in the players' room I can say that there's a lot of guys who want to be the last one to beat Phil Taylor in the World Championships. But we should focus on Peter Wright and Suljovic right now, because we've got 2 winners on stage, and who's the most confident? I've got to say Suljovic.
Well, Peter Wright looking to leave double 18 here. A maximum will do exactly that.
140.
But he leaves 76, and you'll see Peter Wright leave 76 and 96 all the time. Absolutely loves those 2 checkouts. He might not get a go. Well, he is going to get a go.
84. 76.
The question is, will it be 2 shots at a double or 1? It will be 1, and it'll be a double top. Only needs 1, and the aggression is evident from Snakebite. Break a throw in the first leg. And Dan, I've got to say, the increased pace of Peter Wright says to me that he's comfortable playing with these darts. It's like
100.
Coming home to your own bed and knowing the pillow. He is a strange one, Peter. He's never going to be one of the fastest players in the world. However, we have seen him vary his pace, as we have Mensah. We're never quite sure how
45.
fast or slow these guys are going to play when they step up there. Mensah, it's fair to say, probably has a wider variation and has admitted at times he will quite happily slow a game down if he thinks that it's going to get under his opponent's skin and could give him a competitive edge. I don't think that's going to be bothering Peter Wright at all. He doesn't care what pace his opponent plays.
90.
I think you're right, Dan, because in the past I've played Mensah myself, and he's had games where he plays at a glacial pace. But sometimes, and most importantly, over the last 12 months, he has sped up.
Yeah, he's never going to be rapid, the man from Vienna, but he can be very good. Very, very good. 177 for Mensah Suljovic.
61.
He might not come back to the board, you know. Wright might fancy this. Instead, he's thinking clearly. Just wants to lay it up.
95.
Knows that Suljovic is not on a finish. And again, he leaves something with a 6 at the end.
Well, a 177 followed by this. Another 177. Back-to-back perfect visits from Mensah Suljovic. Is it going to be for naught? Bullseye he wants now. Couldn't hit it with his first dart. Wasn't even close. Oh, it's close up.
Mensah wants 12.
Well, by virtue of those 2 spectacular visits, Mensah Suljovic on double 6, double 3, right at the bottom of the board, and as a lie goes, that's perfect, and he didn't use it.
Mensah wants 25.
6 perfect darts in a row, and then 3 disappointing ones for Mensur Suljovic. And double 4 means he's 2-0 down.
17. As he requires 3.
Mensur Suljovic had a couple of legs like this afternoon with Gary Anderson, and he pinched them both. Can he pinch this one? No, he can't.
As he requires 8.
Well, they might both be in the madhouse in a minute.
4.
My word.
As he requires 2.
So assured in that opening leg, Peter Wright. And then look what's happened in this one.
What they usually say about double one is get the first one high. Or you could just hit it.
Second leg, Mensur. The legs Mensur to throw first.
Relief for the big Austrian.
Yeah, I think the word you're looking for is few.
Game on.
Well, that leg is not the greatest advert for the respective talents of these two guys. But I tell you what, if you are looking... Ooh, hang about. Oh, if you're looking for 2 examples of dedication and how far it can take you in this game, these 2 aren't bad ones to look at, are they?
They're fantastic examples, and what I like is that the dedication that they have put in over the last 2 to 5 years, especially. They're not spring chickens, these guys. They're not the 19-year-old upstarts that are coming through. They're saying you can learn young, you can do great things when you're young, like Michael van Gerwen has done. But the thing is, it's not over. If you have a lull in your 30s, you can come back in your 40s, like Gary Anderson's done, and have a spectacular career between 40 and 50. I mean, Phil Taylor's nearly 60, and he's still one of the best players in the world.
Yeah, he's keen on pointing that out, Phil.
108.
And a maximum for Mensur to go with the brace of 177s that he's hit so far. And Suljovic, treble 19, will be the first dart.
If he misses the treble, he's going to need 20 in bullseye. Bullseye.
64.
Just a little to the left.
161.
Now Peter does like 161. Can he do it this time?
He does like 161. He really does like 161. Oh, agonising for Peter Snakebite Wright.
25.
That was in the same puncture mark as the previous visit from Suljovic to the bull. As the crowd get involved and try to get Peter going, it's Suljovic who hits a perfect double 8. Brilliant use of the guide. Banged it into the right side of that barrel. And 2-1 Suljovic it is.
Mensur into the lead.
41.
Yeah, both of these guys had periods where they still played darts, but Peter Wright was completely away from the professional game. You can find footage of Peter Wright years and years and years ago, playing at Lakeside, looking very, very different. Mensur Suljovic has been around, but never really gave the PDC a proper go until the last 3 years. Peter Wright, a couple of years before that, came back to PDC darts. And he has grown and grown and grown to the point where he's number 3 in the world. Mensur up to number 7. They have worked and grafted to get to this point. And I think they've probably surprised themselves about how far they have come.
60.
The thing also is that when you get a little bit of success, you want more and more and more of it. Now, it's very surprising that Mensur Suljovic only has 1 ranking title.
60.
But the consistency of the guy on top of that 1 ranking title is why he's in top 10 in the world. Now, these averages are not reflecting how good these guys really are, but we had a despicable second leg.
Yeah, well, 14 darts missed at double is going to drag any average down, particularly in the early stages of a game. We're only 3.5 legs in. But both of these guys, Mensur is up to number 7 in the world with 1 title to his name of any kind. Now, Peter Wright has won 9 titles this year, including his first big TV title, but he managed to get to number 3 in the world without having won a big TV tournament where there's so much money. It's so heavily weighted towards those major tournaments. It speaks volumes for his consistency as well. These guys, they turn up to everything and have been so consistent. And double top for Peter Wright.
80. Mensur require 142.
Well, this is the second game I've done with Mensur Suljovic today, and I'm sure this is the 3rd or 4th time he's left 142. Maybe 2 treble 17s? This is the proper way to hit it. Well, you've got to get the next treble, Mensur. He knows that that first dart was a great guide. The second dart was not brilliant.
110.
Third dart wasn't bad, mind. Well, for a level game once more, 2 apiece. Yeah, there it is.
Peter Wright. The legs of Mensur are thrown first.
You know what I like about these two players as well, Dan? It's when their darts hit the board, there's a proper thud. None of this feather-like darts just about sitting in the board and possibly it's a bit precarious. When those darts hit the board, they're going absolutely nowhere.
Thrown with authority. Nobody really stamped their authority on this particular contest as yet.
Well, it's party time for the Cardiff crowd, and it's party time for Suljovic for that 180.
140.
Peter Wright hit 6 maximums in his win over Dave Chisnall this afternoon. Completely outscored Dave Chisnall. Put him in the box seat for the majority of that match and won it 10-5. He has not really got going in terms of the 180 hitting so far. Just the 1 for Peter Wright, but we know when he finds his range, he can mix it with anybody. He has an all-round game. The finishing, the scoring, and you'll see matches with Peter Wright where he can rely on one or the other to dig himself out of a hole. One of the titles he won this year on the European Tour, he missed 1 dart at double in the final against Benito van der Pas, did not miss another, and despite Benito averaging 110 against him, Peter Wright, nerveless finishing, got him through that. That's the sort of stuff that has propelled him to 9 titles this year, and it's a very, very elite group of players who've made it to double figures. Not even Gary Anderson did that in that incredible year before he won the Worlds for the first time.
Lots of schools of thought as to where to go for 105. Might go bullseye. Treble 20, very conventional. We know where he's going next, because that leaves double 14. Gets double 14. 3-2 Suljovic.
Mensur's favourite double, double 14. You cannot allow this man even 1 dart at double 14. There is a sinking feeling you get when you're stood behind Mensur and he's looking at that bit of the board to win a leg. There is probably even some big German compound noun, double 14, Mensur angst or something, to sum up that particular sinking feeling you get. And once again, the Austrian edges into the lead.
85.
One thing you can say about both of these guys as well, Dan, is the workman-like attitude that they have. A lot of the games that we've seen them play all over Europe and with Peter around the world is that they've got this quality to sometimes grind out a result when they're not playing their best. However, they have the ability to lift their game to stratospheric levels in order to win titles. Now, the best example of that is Peter Wright's quarter-final in the UK Open this year, which is the best game of the tournament, with Raymond van Barneveld. If you guys have not seen that, you need to go and watch it, because Peter Wright was insatiable in that game. But Mensur has that exact same quality.
Yeah, they're both capable of throwing world-class stuff. Peter Wright is a man who has averaged 9 120. But Mensur has fired in a maximum, his third of this game, to leave a 2-dot, and there is pressure on this 1-2-1. Treble 17 for the bullseye. Again, he worries it. Again, he misses narrowly. And again, Mensur Suljovic might be about to pounce.
Treble 20. Double 18. 2 9s right next door to number favourite. And he splits it. Music to the ears of Snakebite.
9-8 will be the route. And 8 is pinned. As a general rule, Peter Wright is remarkably reliable on 8. Unfortunately, it was the double that he missed repeatedly to win the Premier League title, what would have been his first earlier this year against Michael van Gerwen. But that game aside, that's one game, or arguably one of the most important games of his entire life. He is deadly in that area of the ball.
Well, it's been said that he's the best double 16 shooter in the world. I don't disagree with that whatsoever.
Mind you, you've claimed to be the best double 16 hitter in the world in the past, Paul.
Wayne Mardle once said, it's not whether I am or whether I'm not, it's whether I believe it. And Peter Wright believes he's the best player in the world, and we can't forget about the fact that he's got the second highest average recorded on stage of 119.5.
Yeah, phenomenal display in the Premier League from Peter Wright. 100-teens averages. You know, we do see those, but there's a difference between hitting 113 and 190. Could we see something similarly ridiculous this weekend? If we do, do not rule it out. Being one of these guys we see him play here, produce it. They are capable.
41.
Peter Wright earlier said to me in the studio that he was not happy with 101 average. I said they were the kind of statistics that people aspire to, but he wants to get towards the 120 on a regular basis, hence his search for perfection.
And here it was, 67.
Thank you very much. Warm welcome here in Cardiff. This will be warmly received if Mensur hits the 8. Mensur going toe-to-toe with the world number 3 here.
One thing you don't do at the darts, no politics here, just darts, just hitting that 8. And one thing, Dan, that treble 17 was so pretty. It was so in the middle. And we've seen a couple of really good darts today. The bullseye from Barneveld, which was right in the middle. These guys are warming up lovely. And this game is on a knife edge.
Yeah, this is a battle. Make no mistake about it. It was a battle when Mensur came through against Peter Wright in that European Championship game. He won that 11-8. Having dismantled Taylor in the quarters, and he averaged 105 in that game. Mensur won it 10-3 despite 104 average from Phil Taylor. But Mensur Suljovic is suggesting here today that he may be coming back into that sort of form from last year, and if he is a contender for every single tournament he enters.
I mentioned earlier about confidence levels, and I said that Suljovic would come into this game with more confidence than Peter, and the only reason for that is nobody expected him to beat Gary today. They all thought that Gary would steamroll him and Mensur would just make up the numbers, but he has said to everybody, I'm here to win this. And the confidence levels he's shown tonight, he's going to pose problems for everybody.
Maximum to leave 2-2. Why not? Why not? However, only one treble needed for Mensur Suljovic here to get a dart for the leg.
It was tricky because he likes to land them on top of each other and stack them to the sides. But now You left it, Peter. Double 2. Still open for business. Madhouse. All of a sudden, Suljovic should have 2 darts for a 5-3 advantage.
And there, maybe, we see the disadvantage of leaving double 2. He didn't have to go that route. I think part of the reason was he wanted a bit of noise in the hall, see if it could put Mensur off the following shot. Just over the top of that one. Double 10 it is, though. And we have some daylight between these two. The double headbutt from Mensur Suljovic, 5-3 to the Gen Court. And Peter Wright is coming into this knowing that his final group stage game is against the world number 2 Gary Anderson, the highest ranked player in this group, the only player ranked higher than himself in this group. And he's a guy he does not have a very good record against. Peter Wright does not want to go into tomorrow having to win to be sure of, or giving himself a chance of making it through.
Not to mention the fact that those guys aren't exactly on each other's Christmas card lists.
60.
World Cup of Darts partners for Scotland.
Now looking at Suljovic's setup, you see that twitchy index finger on the dart throwing hand. Spent many an hour surveying that dart hand and wondering why he does it.
100.
I'm of the opinion that he's just trying to get the dart comfortable within his strangled grip.
Well, you can see him at the back there. He's got, it's like a chalk that he's got, and you'll often see just clouds of the stuff exploding off his darts as he throws them into the board. That's all about having the right grip, and he does sort of use it as he twiddles the dart round in his hand just to coat it and coat his fingers, and he's constantly, obsessively sticking that stuff all over his fingers to make sure he's got a consistent grip. But Mensur, we talked about his dedication. This is a guy who came back from the dreaded dartitis a number of years ago, like the yips in golf, and inability to release the dart properly. Eric Bristow suffered from it. Not many people come back from it, but Mensur did. And did so with this weird throw that he's built. Well, he's hit the 16 there, so 105 left.
Just looking to set it up. And that'll do, because Wright is way back. But on the chalk thing, the amount of people who love chalk, times that by 10, and that's the people who've got who hate it.
140.
Suljovic, 60. For 6-3. He is loving this right now, Suljovic. This is his game. 6-3 it is. And if Suljovic could invent a day of darts here in Cardiff, he would have dreamt about this, but maybe not thinking it was going to be a reality.
Well, Mensur Suljovic is averaging more than 98. That is similar to his average this afternoon, and that was enough to batter the 2-time world champion Gary Anderson. Now, if Peter Wright does lose this game, and there is still a way to go, and of course we've got the break at the end of this leg, but if Peter Wright does lose this, it will be a straight shootout between him and Gary Anderson, the World Cup of Darts partners, the top 2 players in Scotland, and the world numbers 2 and 3, for a spot in the semi-finals. Dave Chisnall will be gone.
Maybe it's because earlier in the day we talked about Mensa Mania.
It is sweeping the nation, sweeping the world.
He's got his own hashtag. We've got our own hashtag, BBC Darts. Get in touch.
$140.
Shake of the head from Peter Wright. Not a happy man right now. But he is not out of this. A simple holder throw. 6-4. That is not the end of the world for Peter Wright.
95. He's here by 161.
Doesn't have to go for the bullseye if he gets the first 2 trebles. We'll just look to lay it up, and that's fine. Interesting use of the 3rd dart. I thought he might have gone to treble 19 to try and set up a double. However, he will be back. And he's already seen today that after the break, things can be done. Phil Taylor did it against Adrian Lewis.
Yes, he certainly did. Well, 14 for double top. Double top. And double top is pinned, and an celebration from Peter Wright, somewhere between anger and confusion from the UK Open champion. He trails by 2 legs. Mensur Suljovic, well, he only needs 4 more to be assured of a spot in the semi-finals. Peter Snakebite Wright has to turn this game around after the break.
Thank you, chaps. And remember, Peter Wright leads the career head-to-head 6-2. Wright failed to make the semi-finals last year, beaten by Michael van Gerwen and Phil Taylor in the group stages. And what a performance Mensur is putting in this evening. And Alan Warren a little has joined us here in the studio. Alan, good to see you. Just talk us through this very, very strange action that Mensur has.
Yeah, I mean, we look at so many different players and the different actions they have. Mensur's one of those unique ones, isn't he? You see his finger moving. He's like a ballet dancer almost when he stands there, isn't he? A lot of that's from the soft tip days when he used to play soft tip. It's just the way he throws, but it is unique.
And what do you think is happening there with the finger then? Is that in order, as Paul says, to get control of the dart?
Yeah, he's just got his own unique way of starting. It's almost about that last throw you throw.
Yeah.
As soon as you let go of the darts, it's just getting that moment, just your own little sort of potential movement towards that.
Okay, let's just take a look at this. Have a look at this. Here it comes. It's a very interesting stance, isn't it, Alan?
It's that back leg that gets me. I mean, if you were stood so close, you'd get one right in the kneecap.
Yeah, well, like we said, it's unique, but it does work for Mensur. It doesn't look orthodox, but it really does work for him. It's how he's thrown all his career, and he's making big strides in the sport now, so we can't knock it.
He's making big strides. Did you mean to say that?
He's got his own technique, and it works for him. You know, he's one of those players that won't be rushed. He knows exactly what he needs to do. He gets himself set, he has his technique, and just follows it through.
Yep, OK, right. There are lots of choices that the players have to make when they're on the oche, but we wonder what Peter Wright's preferences are.
Either or, what's the score?
Peter Wright. Snakepipe.
Double top or double 16?
Double 16.
Double 1 or double 3?
Double 3.
Peter Wright, you require 92. Treble 20 or ball?
Treble 20.
2 darts in hand. Treble double or double double?
Double double.
Legs or sets?
Sets.
Best of 11 or best of 21?
Best of 21.
Circus Tavern or Lakeside?
Circus Tavern.
Alexandra Palace or Winter Gardens?
Alexandra Palace.
Premier League or World Series?
Premier League.
Eric Bristow or Jockey Wilson?
Tough one. How can I say both? Eric Bristow.
Bobby George or Wayne Martin?
Bobby George.
Stand up if you love the dance or the very best of order?
Stand up if you love the dance.
World champion or world number 1?
World champion.
Check or trophy?
Trophy.
So Peter's going for the trophy and not the check. Well, he's enjoying the most successful year of his career. He won his first TV title at the UK Open in March, amongst 9 tournament victories in a 6-month spell. Right, Mark, what's going to happen now then, post this interval?
Yeah, Peter's going to have to attack the Mensur throw because he needs to get that break back, but Mensur's just got to tell himself, not only can he win the game, he can ensure a qualification for the semi-finals in this game, and he'll want to do that, you know, and he can prepare for the bigger picture tomorrow.
All right, let's hand you back then to Paul and Dan.
Well, you saw Peter Wright saying there, trophy over check all day long. As Mensur looks like he could chuck 180s all day long. That's his 5th. But Peter Wright, at the start of this year, took all his runner-up trophies, a couple of UK Opens, a couple of World Series of Darts finals, a World Championship final, and he chucked them away, stuck them in a closet, got rid of them. He was fed up of being second best. Oh my.
This isn't second best. Suljovic has a record of hitting 9 dart legs. Hasn't really hit one on tour yet. But let's just see if he can do this, shall we? Another treble 20. I wonder what he said. Something in Slavic or potentially German. but a good leg all the same.
Well, a hand of apology. Peter Wright stayed out during the break there, kept throwing darts. He knows that he has to come out of this break firing to turn this game around. And Mensur has got 6 perfect darts, a perfect way for Mensur Suljovic to start this. And an 11-darter on throw for Mensur Suljovic has just taken Peter Wright out of that opening leg.
What he was saying about Peter throwing away or putting away all of his runners-up trophies, it's all about motivation. And ever since that story came out, it's amazing how many dart players have done the same.
140.
Well, Mensur Suljovic. 3 scoring visits since the break. 180, 180, 140. Not bad.
Not bad. He's probably thinking there should be more breaks, but we don't want breaks. We want darts.
Plenty more to come in this one. Mensur will be delighted if there's only 3 more legs. The way he's going, it might be.
100.
He's playing a little faster now as well, Dan. He came out of that break and played very swiftly, and it may have taken Peter by surprise.
100.
Well, we said these guys can vary their speed, and often it's just about how confident they're feeling with their setup and how things are going. Mensur's average is now pushed up above 100. Because he keeps piling into the red bit. 1-2-1 left for Mensur, 90 left for Peter Wright. It could be another leg of darts in 12 darts or fewer. 13 scored. Oh my word.
That's one of the reasons why people will say go for 20s on 90. Single 20, single 20 bull. He gambled. But now it's Suljovic who has a wide. And Wright comes back for his favourite double 16.
43. Peter Wright, 32.
Well, a reprieve, but Mensur is waiting to strike if Peter Wright messes his lines up here, which he does not. 13 darter.
13 legs Mensur to throw first.
Cuts that gap to just the 2 legs.
I said earlier on today that when you've got a gap of 3 or 4 legs, all you want to do really is try and get even. Get to 7-7 or even 8 all. Give yourself a chance to strike. Is there anybody better in the world right now at closing out a match when it's level legs? Maybe Van Gerwen. Used to be James Wade for me. But Wright just has that knack of getting himself one opportunity and taking it out.
Well, look, he said this in an interview this weekend. The last few months, he hasn't been playing anywhere near as well as he was at the start of the year. And yet, it's still been enough to add to that title haul. It's still been enough to become the first Scotsman ever to make the final of the World Match Club, one of the most prestigious tournaments of the year. That is an indication of just how effective, how good Peter Wright's B game is. And this is his B game, if that might even be a C game. It's not vintage Peter Wright by any stretch of the imagination, but he's still in this game. I'm sure Mensur was happy about that.
Well, Mensur's like a can of varnish, isn't he? You almost know what you're going to get. And round about the 100 average, whether it be 99, 100, 101, that's where he lives. That's his postcode. Sometimes he goes next door and averages 105 plus.
100.
But this is what we come to expect from Mensur Suljovic. I look at a 99 tournament average from Mensur and I think, well, that's what I expect from him.
100.
Yeah, it's the consistency again. And that has been lacking a little bit of late from Mensur. But it's back. Treble 20. For double 18 for a 1-2-1 and an 8-5 lead.
103.
Ah, the old dying swan hand gesture. It's been a while, Mensur. Thanks for bringing that back, my old friend.
Sometimes he does the single swan dive, the double, and it symbolises that he just didn't throw it right. Didn't get enough loop on the dart. But this double 9 has to go because Wright has just put him under pressure.
Is the pressure going to tell?
No,
Yes. It does. And Peter Wright for a break of throw to cut the gap to just a leg. We said he was still in it. And he certainly is now.
He gets within one leg, the crowd get involved, and you've got to think with Peter Wright's popularity, he will have most of this crowd. We're on throw, and even though he's had to rely on a couple of missed chances from Mensah, this is the plan being executed. He's on terms, and now he can strike to get in front of Suljovic.
Well, this is what we talk about, grinding results out. You don't have to be at your absolute best to win games of darts. You've just got to be able to hit the right shot at the right time. And that 180 from Peter Wright to put the pressure on Mensah Suljovic was huge. Don't underestimate the role that played in Mensah missing those 3 darts. Because he was looking comfortable. He was already thinking 8-5, happy days.
Another max for Mensah. Of course it is. And his scoring ability today, Suljovic, it's as good as I've seen it in quite a while.
7 maximums for Mensah, 100.6 average.
140.
Peter Wright's average for the first 9 darts was up near 120 earlier on. That's dipped by 20 points tonight. That's the difference between these two. Mensah Suljovic in this match is averaging first 9 115. He's getting more shots at doubles than Peter Wright is.
Yeah, well, just to put that in context, after 3 visits, Mensah's typically getting down to a finish. Peter Wright isn't. That's the difference. He's getting more opportunities. He's got an opportunity here, and he's going to look at the 18s. That's the standard route for the 1-2-2. Only needs 1 treble to get a dart for the leg, and it needs to be treble 18. And he does not get it.
Still needs treble 18 to leave a favoured double. Doesn't like the lie, may look for an alternative.
84.
Does like treble 16 about as much as he likes double 14.
'19s or 15s? It's the 19s for double 12. A huge dart.
89. 38.
Suljovic chose to leave double 19, but I feel he might split this and leave double 14. Tactics from Suljovic, perfectly executed, and he gets his 2-leg advantage back.
It's that old doppelfit saying Mensah angst again. Peter Wright must have known when the single 10 was hit that the leg was gone.
Make no mistake, Mensah Suljovic knew that treble 16 left double 19, and if he came back to the board, he knew that he wasn't going to go for it. That was just a brilliant game plan, relying on a miss from Peter, and took advantage.
45.
Just get the feeling with Mensah sometimes he'd rather have 1 dart at double 14 than 3 at any other.
There's certainly been times where you have felt that 1 dart is all Mensah Suljovic needs when he's looking at that double 14, but this could be number 8 for the maximums. Well, another 177. 7 maximums, 3 177s for Mensah Suljovic. It is majestic scoring from the big Austrian.
98.
Not only has he frustrated Gary Anderson today, but you could see the frustration in Peter Wright's face when Mensah took out that 38. It's unconventional and it gets under the skin of guys.
Look at the 8 players here this weekend. There is incredible list of achievements for every single one of them, and Mensah, his CV doesn't hold up to the same scrutiny. Despite being a debutant, he's won 1 PDC title. I know he's won 20 odd other titles in various things, soft tip and playing the BDO, dating back to 1999. But in terms of PDC darts, his CV is not as impressive as the other guys. But the darts he's produced today, he battered the world #2. He is completely in charge of this one against the world #3 right now. And it's another maximum.
And even though Peter Wright hit a 159 in the last visit, he just can't get rid of the Austrian. He's having to hit this 144, another one of those, for double 18. Oh, what a finish! Snake bites, absolute fireworks here on a Saturday night in Cardiff.
The kind of shots of champions, the moments of magic that only the very best can produce under pressure, and it may well be a shot that turns this game.
140.
The word we are looking for that finish is defiance. I do not want to lose right now. 144 is a sensational finish. If you like double 12, you like double 18, get a couple of trebles and go for it. That's exactly what Wright wanted. A brilliant shot, the best we've seen today.
It is certainly right up there. But he is still trailing in this match.
Well, this is my favourite game of the day so far. Not just because I'm watching it in the commentary box, but there's a genuine feel about it that it may go all the way. And the quality of this game, it's not your 110 averages. They're both hovering around that 100 level. One miss could be the difference between these guys come the end of this match.
Treble 20. He'll stay there. And he will return. 3 darts in his hand to get back level for the first time since leg 6, when we're all tied up at 3-all.
Вирусная угроза была обнаружена.
Another 180 from Suljovic, and it's Wright's turn to hear the 180 shout when he's on a double, but it doesn't make any difference. We've got 2 little snowmen on the scoreboard. It's 8 each.
Mensah still holds the advantage. He has the throw in 2 of the remaining 3 legs.
140.
But Peter Wright is on the charge. Can Mensah hold him off? On the charge, Peter Wright.
139.
Well, in his little interview, Dan, he did say that he preferred best of 21 as opposed to a shorter format. That's because he's used to playing long format darts, and he gets better as the game goes on. But not just Peter Wright, but Suljovic is getting better as well.
Well, Peter Wright is one of the guys who practices and practices and practices hours and hours and hours.
100.
You get the feeling that if this game were to carry on all night, Peter Wright would be quite able to maintain this level.
If you want to win world titles, you've got to be able to play for 2.5 to 3 hours straight at 100 average level. It's as simple as that. And he can.
He can, but he is still in trouble. Dabbing dwarfs, of course. Here are the darts.
132. And you require 82.
That's one way to leave 130 via a treble 4. But now Suljovic will have eyes only for the bull. Oh, look at that, it's a peach. 2 darts for double 16 to put him 1 leg away from a victory. And that is just as good as the 144. That 82 is clinical.
Mensah Suljovic, after the break, when Peter Wright knew he had to come out firing, Suljovic hit him with an 11-darter. Wright manages to drag himself level at 8-all, and Suljovic hits him again with an 11-darter. Each time, Peter Wright has just tried to chuck everything at him. Suljovic has stood up to him and fired in a superb leg.
Peter Wright starts this leg with 64. Suljovic smells blood.
140.
And he wanted that 180 just to say to Peter, you got to catch me. And there's Jo, Peter's wife. She'll be biting those fingernails because right now Peter Wright is in the corner, being punched upon.
And Suljovic is looking to land. More heavy blows.
108.
It is number 10 for Mensur Suljovic. A tremendous 10 180s for the gentle. And the world number 3 may be about to fall at his feet, just as the world number 2 did earlier on this afternoon.
If Suljovic can close this out here, this will be the best day of darts of his career, in my opinion, against two of the most dangerous players of the last 20 years.
Mensur is averaging 104. This is the sort of stuff that can win you big titles against the best in the world. This is his debut. He came into this not in the greatest form, certainly not playing as well as he was all last year. But he's got 6 darts from 126 to see off the UK Open champion.
He's not going to go for it.
94.
Doesn't care about the Hollywood shot. He wants to lay it up, something comfortable with 3 darts in hand. Danny's coming back for double 16
91.
to take out Snakebite tonight.
32.
It was 10-3 this afternoon against Gary Anderson for Mensur Suljovic. This has been closer. And it is not over just yet. 3 match darts missed by Mensur Suljovic. Wright needs 86 to stay alive and take us all the way to a last leg decider.
It's 144 time again. Now he needs 2 right down deep from that pocket of magic tricks that he has. Is it treble 19 or treble 15? He can't hit a double.
70. As you boy 60.
Now, Mensur has to keep his nerves together to get over the line.
He's missed 3 match darts already. Mensur desperately trying to compose himself. The crowd aren't going to make this easy for him. Can he hold it together? Yes, he can! Mensur Suljovic, just a 3rd career victory over Peter Snakebite Wright, and a massive one as well. Mensur is going to be in the semi-finals of the Champions League of darts.
Well, if you thought Mensur Suljovic was here to make up the numbers, today, Saturday in Cardiff, he's proved you all wrong. The man from Austria is putting Austrian darts on the map in a whole different way. He's taken out Anderson, now he's taken out Snakebite.
The European Championship finalist of last year. Only 1 PDC title to his name. He's seen off the world number 3 after seeing off the world number 2. And who knows, he might see them all off this weekend. Peter Wright is still in this, but it's going to be a straight shootout with Gary Anderson, his World Cup of Darts partner, the top 2 Scottish players in the world facing off for a spot in the semis. Mensur, we know, is into the last 4. And if he keeps playing like this, anything could happen.
Well, he's seen off for world number 2 and world number 3, and no wonder why Mensur is celebrating like that. And you have to say, best celebrations we've had so far in Cardiff today. What a fantastic performance. And the one thing we've done, we just crunched the figures, and he is through to the semi-finals. Amazing.
Yeah, fantastic performance all day. The biggest smile. I mean, he's one of them players, isn't he? He's probably didn't feel like he was going to get in his position, but he's deserved it. You know, he hit 10 180s in the match, averaged 103. He's averaging the tournament so far over 100, and he's beaten 2 world-class players.
Amazing. It took a while to warm up, but my goodness, what a match we had in the end.
Yeah, there was a few patchy legs early doors, but once Mensah got in at 6-4 at the break, he defended his lead really well. I think he, even when Peter came back at him with that big 1-4-4 finish, he just stayed calm and he sorted out the game. That's a massive result for Mensah, and obviously simplifies that group as well, because it's a straight shootout between Gary and Peter Wright tomorrow.
And Alan, I'm just looking at the stats there, and Mensah 10 180s in that match. Peter Wright 10 180s in the tournament so far.
Yeah, his scoring was fantastic. I mean, he also hit 3 or at least 4 177s on top of the 180s. So it just shows you he was well on the mark on the scoring, but he maintained his scoring power all the way through the match and gave himself more chances. That's why he eventually won in the end. And
Peter Wright has put a whole load of pressure on himself now, hasn't he, ahead of tomorrow?
Yeah, he has, but he knows what he's got to do. There's no leg counting tomorrow. He just has to win. It's a winner takes all. So in that sense, he's just got to prepare as a knockout game. But yeah, he'll be disappointed because he sort of let Mensah in at early doors, and Mensah got ahead and never looked back.
Right, OK, let's take a look at the group then, and this is what it all means. So we can say that Mensah is through to the semi-finals, and look at that. It's a straight shootout between